I'm Ronan Gillespie. I'm an independent business development consultant in the spirits sector. Jeff and Theo have brought us through what's happening here in Germany and in the US, and I'm going to extend that conversation to have a look at craft spirits trends in the United Kingdom. That's a bit about me. So, looking at spirits overall in the UK, it's a vibrant category. It's worth about £5 billion sterling. That's just under 6 billion euros. You can see that it took a dip in 2020. No surprise there. COVID-related, the on-premise closing, etc. But it bounced back in 2021 as consumers got more used to buying online, buying in grocery stores, off licenses, etc. Spirits market in the UK is dominated by three categories: vodka, gin, whiskey. And the figures you see there for the on-trade and off-trade split, they're based not just for spirits, but that's beer, wine and spirits, and it's value-based. So it's 55% off-trade, 45% on-trade. If you were to look at just spirits alone in terms of volume, it's probably about 80% off-trade, 20% on-trade. So what's happening in craft? Well, the first thing that's happening in craft in the UK is the number of distilleries. Now, we're not talking about the 18,000 distilleries, that are here in Germany, or the 2,500 distilleries that Jeff mentioned in the US. But the British Office of National Statistics, as reported by the Independent newspaper earlier this year, said that there's now 820 distilleries in the United Kingdom. That's up 15% on the previous year, despite the pandemic, and it's a fourfold increase on 2015. So you can see that there's a huge increase in, the trend is very much towards more and more distilleries. And interestingly, 9 out of every 10 of those distilleries employ less than 10 people. So we're talking micro enterprises here, true micro distilleries. What are they producing? Well, again, well documented and mentioned by both Jeff and Theo, gin. Britain is probably where the gin renaissance started. Brands like Hendrick's, Sipsmith Gin, about 10 years ago, they got people drinking gin in funny big wine glasses. Who knew that was a thing, as opposed to the highball? You can see some figures there from William Grant and Sons as to the number of new gin brands that have been launched in recent years. It's 530 new gin brands. And you can also see the impact of flavoured gin. That's becoming a more and more important category or subcategory in its own right. I think if you added flavoured gin to non-flavoured gin, you'd probably find that it's just about outselling or equal to the vodka market in Britain. I'm not going to dwell too much on gin because gin's success is well documented. But what I think is really interesting development in craft spirits in Britain is the emergence of English whiskey. So, of course, Britain is the home of Scotch whiskey. Of course it is. But who knew that English whiskey was a thing? I suppose you can see a map there. The English Whiskey Guild reckons that there's about 40 whiskey distillers in England at the moment. They're spread pretty much throughout the country. And there's some couple of great quotes there from the English Whiskey Guild, that English whiskey is witnessing unprecedented growth with a tsunami of drinkers across the world, discovering and experiencing a spirit produced with incredible flavour diversity and to the highest standards. With 40 active distilleries and a string of internationally recognised awards, the future of English whiskey is now. English whiskey will sell about 500,000 bottles this year, or about 40,000 9-litre cases. So just to have a quick look at the discovery and the spirits, the quality, etc., the innovation, I'm going to just show you a quick view of 2 distilleries. Now, I have nothing to do with these distilleries. I don't work with them, but I do admire what they're doing. The first is Filey Bay, which is from the Spirit of Yorkshire distillery. It's a true field-to-bottle distillery. These guys are farmers. They have fields and fields growing barley. They started with a craft brewery. Then they decided to distill the mash that they were producing, and now they have a range of award-winning single malt distilleries. It's true craft. Another distillery I'd like you to kind of show, maybe more from an innovation perspective, is, and very interesting what Jeff was saying about rye in the US. The Oxford Artisan Distillery, again, farming and sustainability is at the heart of what they're doing. But they've chosen rye as their principal grain. Generally in the British Isles, in Scotland, Ireland, England and Wales, when we're making whiskey, we use barley to drive flavour. But this distillery's decided to go with rye, which is very innovative. And they also have their own craft gin and craft vodka under the Oxford brand. And just to finish up, I want to have a look at pricing in craft spirits in Britain. Now, it's generally accepted that anything over £23 sterling, and that will include excise and VAT. VAT in Britain is 20%. VAT is sales tax. Excise in Britain is one of the highest rates in Europe. It's £8 and 5 pence per bottle at 40%, per 700 ml bottle at 40%. That's somewhere in the region of €9 per bottle. So anything over £23 is considered premium, and you can see that all the major kind of craft products on average are well above that. So craft vodka average price is £31, craft rum £33, craft gin £34, and craft whiskey is £56 per bottle. There's a gentleman called Tagore Ramutar. He keeps an eye on what's happening in the craft spirits world. And as I say, one of the metrics he keeps a close eye on is pricing. He reckons that in the very near future, those prices will have to go up because, of course, craft producers can't absorb costs in the way that the multinationals can. Okay, so that's a snapshot view of craft spirits in Britain. Clearly, gin remains a big thing. But the emergence, I think, of English whiskey is something to look out for. Thank you very much.